Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The New Nasty Boys. I'm your co-host this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you decide to watch or listen to this thing, Billy DeFore. And sitting next to me is my co-host,
Chris Weir. What's up, Nasty Nation? Welcome back to the Fart Dunge. Ooh, we're here. You're here. We got a duo going down. We're dropping a deuce in the Deuce Cavern.
That's right. We're without Jake tonight because he's got that shift with his schedule. There's Mom's Day. The game was later, like at 2:10. So it's
He's on the run from the law. We can't really talk about his exact location. He's off the grid.
Yeah, he's off the grid. We don't know what he's doing, but you know what? He's safe. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
He's safe, and we're good. So, and as always, the show is brought to you by Cincy Light. Cincy Light, the spirit of Cincy. Cincy Light is a refreshing, crisp lager brewed in partnership with Cincy Reigns, benefiting student athletes. The easy drinking classic is the perfect way to celebrate the Queen City. Raise a toast to triumph that the red and black shall reign. Cincy Light beer is available year-round in 12-packs, 24-packs, on draft, and our favorite tall boy cans. Because that's the flavor of Cincinnati Daddies, baby. That was a crispy read.
I dig it, man.
Take it to
It's
the bank.
extra crispy because I am actually delving into the stash we got here.
Yeah, buddy.
It was a beer day.
It was a beer day for Mom?
Yeah, Mother's Day, she told me she really wanted me to polish off a six-pack. She says, if there's anything you do, please make sure you drink at least half a dozen beers and tell me my present's not getting in until next week. That's what I really like.
You're like, what do you mean present till next week? Flowers are everywhere.
Yeah, when you have to print off the picture of the present because you just bought it. She really loves that.
Oh, man, you have a printer. Look at you.
It was hers. I borrowed her ink.
Hey, Mom, sorry, I got to airdrop this to your printer real quick. I haven't had a printer. I remember Alicia and I, when we moved in together in Clifton, I remember her having a printer and then us never using it.
Yeah, there's really no point anymore. I haven't printed something off in years, I feel. I can't remember last time I printed something off.
No, I literally can't remember.
Yeah, it's just all paperless. Everything I need, like I download onto my phone.
Paperless, just like my bidet.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
There it is. See, we call back to last week, buddy. That's how we're rolling. So, what did you get your mom?
Oh, I got her like one of those digital picture frames. It's been advertised in like so many podcasts. I eventually like broke down and got it. But my mom really, I feel like every year she wants me to like frame a new photo or take a picture of like her cats or something like that. Yeah. And so I feel like every other year I'm getting her a picture frame. So I figured this would be a good idea to invest a little bit more money, like one of those digital ones. You can plug in a bunch of photos. And it's great because I know I can plug in any photo in there and there's no way she's going to be able to figure out how to take it off. So that's great. I'm going to sneak in so much subliminal stuff. It'll be terrific.
Yeah, it just Gavin Newsom thumbs up.
Why is there a shirtless picture of Corky Miller on here? Sorry, Dad wanted that.
Dad really wanted it. But why is he riding a horse? Don't worry about it.
It's nothing but John Candy photos. Yeah, and?
You know what? You have a problem with the canned man?
Yeah, come on.
Get
Planes, trains, automobiles. It works for so many different seasons.
It's just 8 different Kenosha Kickers logos.
That's what Mom really wants.
Mom really wanted that. I get it. I got my mom flowers. I got my mom one of her favorite bottles of red wine. I forget what it's called because I'm not a red wine guy. I'm not a wine guy in general. Not for me. I've tried. It's like I take a sip. I'm like, that's delicious. And then I take another sip and I'm like, I'm full.
I feel the same way with Bloody Marys. I really like the first few sips, and after that, I just kind of watch it get more and more watery from the ice cubes.
You're like, oh man, this gazpacho really sucks.
Yeah.
So, what else? And then I smoked 10 pounds of wings yesterday.
Dang.
Yeah, and so I brought over wings because what I like to do is I like to smoke them and then put them in the fridge because then the smoke sticks to them more. Then the next day, air fry them.
Dog.
Dude. They're crispy and they're smoky. I forgot to bring you some. I was going to bring you some.
That's quite all right. I can still smell the flavor on you.
Yeah, I got a little on my jersey here, right there, from just handling them today.
I'm getting a little contact seasoning.
Yeah, contact seasoning.
Was it Creole on your ankles? What's going on?
I got a little salty buzz. Which is so close to my nipple, but
I had a little spill here too, up around the T.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was. I think it was some sort of beef. I get beef stroganoff. I think.
Ooh, I love beef stroganoff.
It's pretty nice.
And it's so easy to make.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. My brother whips them up, and also, what else would we have? It wasn't beef Wellington. What's the other one they wrap bacon around it?
Like a fillet?
Yeah, filet.
Yeah, like a center cut fillet with bacon wrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had one of
are
those.
great.
Yeah, it was nice.
Those are fantastic. You can normally find those in like the discount meat section.
Filet mignon. I think that's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends if they want to add a couple more bucks, they call it filet mignon. But if it's like they're like, man, this is on the discount shelf, we got to get rid of these today. They just say center cut tenderloin.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they just pull off the label and it's like discount time.
Yeah, legally we cannot call this what we want to call it. But if we drop it a few bucks, we understand you won't really care.
You won't care. You're poor and hungry.
Yeah. It's meat, god dang it.
God dang it, dude! I also smoked. I went to Eckerlin because they recently reopened their original spot. They remodeled. Took 2 years. It's amazing, beautiful in Findlay Market, dude. I got this Kansas City strip. It was this thick. It was this big, and so I smoked it, and then I pulled it, and then I cranked my egg temp up to 1,000.
Yeah?
Seared the living piss out of it. Dude.
Oh, I love that. I love when there's different textures. That really gets me going. When something is initially crispy, and all of a sudden you bite in there, it's juicy and soft.
It's juicy and soft. I know a thing or two about being juicy and soft.
I've seen your sweatpants.
I've seen them. We know what's going on under this desk. Dude, I took it. It was like, took a bite. And it was smoky. And then the meat just melted. And it was perfect.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Then I watched the game with my mom today. And around the 8th inning, I'm in the recliner. And I know I'm getting older because I fucking fell asleep. Just zonked. Just dad night there. Head back, snoring myself awake a couple times. I was like, yep, this is what your mid-30s is like, I guess.
Living the dream, baby. Dude, I love falling asleep so easily. I'm pretty good at it. Do you fall asleep on planes?
Oh, dude, I could go pros falling asleep on planes.
Dude, I'm nails at it. I'm so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the best sleep, but like I can find myself because it's like that white noise you're surrounded with. So it's pretty easy for me to get in that nice little, like, almost feels like you're gonna get in that REM state.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
REM sleep.
Do you the REM sleep? No, not Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
What is your technique? Are you a head back? Are you head on the shoulder? Do you need to be in a certain seat to be able to fall asleep?
I do have different preferences. Obviously, the easiest one is if you have the window, you can lean your head up against there.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty good at the old man of just like folding arms and kind of leaning in myself like a pigeon a bit. Like, so I kind of rest my head like there, and then just every once in a while. I'm pretty good at that. That's what I do. I wake up when I hear myself snoring.
You're like, oh, you forget you're on a flight.
Yeah. Oh my God. I do that all the time. Where I just like, whoa. I used to do that in school too, and it'd be great if you had a pen in your hand. You just like kind of like throw it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And that's what you wake up to?
Yeah.
I got really good in school at falling asleep with my eyes open. Ooh. Yeah, that's why I wasn't a great student.
No.
I would just stare, and then I'd be like, and then I'd be like, then someone asked me something, I'd be like, huh? And I was like, I was full asleep.
Teacher's like, man, he is just impeccably locked in right now.
Wow, he really loves Algebra 2.
Look at his eyes is shaking back and forth.
Wow, he's anticipating this so much, he's starting to drool. I can do, so I have to be on the end, because as I get really claustrophobic on flights and stuff, so I'm like, I can't be against the window, because then I have a panic attack. I can't be in the middle, because then I don't know who I'm sitting next to, and then I'm fighting for that armrest.
Yeah.
I'm on the aisle, and then I Kennedy it back and to the left, get really nuzzled in, and then I'm out. I'm done. Oh, dude, it's over. And I'm just like, Milwaukee. And so I'm like really good at that. And so I'm looking forward to it when I fly out to LA. I'm going to just really hone in. And so I think I started getting good practice in the recliner today.
That's great.
You know? So
Tray table's nice too. If you can prop up on there, that nice little T shape.
yeah.
Oh, you can really snooze there.
Yeah. One of the best flights we took was from New York to Rome. And it was a really big old nice plane. And I got to shift back a little bit. And I got to shift back and they gave me plenty of leg room. And it was, oh, buddy, I watched 10 minutes of Furiosa. And then I was like, this is putting me night.
That's great. I love getting the exit row too.
Exit, because then I can put my leg out a little bit. You know, I'm a thicker guy. I need a little bit of extra room. And if I can put my knee out, Good. And the sign of a good airline is if you've got your knee out in the exit lane, they'll come and they'll just tap and be like, excuse me, can you please move your leg? I was on a Frontier flight going out to spring training, and I had my leg out, and the dude just bashed my knee with the cart. I think he gained momentum doing it. Like, he just got excited, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking ruin this guy's day.
Yeah.
And then shove and bang, and I was like, ow, really? He's like, you gotta watch where you're going. I'm like, I'm sitting.
Yeah, I can't see you.
I can't see you.
You can see my knee.
Yeah, you can be polite. I get it. You're not happy about working here. I'm not happy about being on this flight. Try to give me a little bit of a reprieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got a bruised patella. That's no good.
Yeah, bruised patella and a bruised pride. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Just like this week for the Reds.
Oh yeah, very much so.
See what we did. Oh yeah. Before we launch into what a disappointing week this was, there was some other fun stuff that happened.
Certainly.
So let's dive in. The Diamondbacks unveiled their new City Connects. We saw the jersey mock and we were like, okay, this is pretty cool. Let's see if they stick the landing. Did they stick the landing?
I'm not going to say it doesn't make sense for the design, but I'm not a fan of snakes. It just doesn't really appeal to me. It looks really nerdy, like a big, we're snakes. Look at us. Look, it's a big S up there. It just seems, it's just not my jam. But if you are in junior high, this is the coolest looking thing. I'm certain of it. I do like.
yeah.
I'll talk about the colors. I love the teal and the purple. I think it's a nice color combo. As far as if you're doing a Serpentines design, I think it works. But I just really don't like snakes as a mascot. They
Yeah.
just seem a little silly.
A little silly?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start calling you Dr. Jones because you hate snakes.
Oh, yeah. Some of the best. I was watching that trilogy not that long ago. Finally saw Crystal Skull. It was as bad as what people said.
See, I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was fine. And it was just okay. I didn't think it was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
If you're comparing it, it's unfair that you're comparing it to like quite possibly one of the most enjoyable trilogies of all time. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark might be the best movie ever made.
Ooh.
And Crystal Skull, right from the jump, was asinine. It was so insane. He survived a nuclear bomb by being in a 50s fridge.
Yeah.
No sense.
No, but you're right. Damn it.
And also, too, like, I love, actors continue to act in their, when they get into like kind of like Twilight, Golden Age or whatever. But seeing a man with baggy khakis pulled up to his belly button trying to just fight people, and it's just like, this is so unbelievable.
And then they've got the the Golden Compass or whatever, the one that came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure I
I haven't
did.
watched it yet. I've heard that one is ass. So.
Yeah, and I'll give them room to like explore aliens for Indiana Jones. I think it could be cool, but it was so bad I had to watch it to the very end. I was like,
Yes.
I have to see the ending to this, and it was worth it if you're expecting it to be complete garbage. And I was like, yes, this is exactly where
This
it was
is the
going.
trash I wanted.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they almost handed off the franchise to Shia LaBeouf. Mm-hmm. Woof. Boy, howdy. Could that have been a huge mistake?
Yeah,
Thank God everyone hated it. And they're like, maybe we should leave it alone.
yeah. Let's put it on pause for
Put
right
it
now.
on pause. We'll let Disney buy us out and make a retread. My favorite's The Last Crusade. That one with Sean
It's super
Connery.
fun. It's
great.
really fun.
Yeah, and the fact that Indy and his dad are Eskimo bros,
Yeah.
pretty funny. Where it's just where they're just like looking at each other, and then it's just glossed over, like whatever. Okay, we're moving on.
Ah, Junior. We almost made a similar Junior on this same Eskimo hut.
Fuck. I like the uniforms.
Totally fine. It's just snakes just kind of like
get
bother
it.
me as a mascot.
I love the texture in the jerseys, like we saw from the leak. I really do like the scales in it. The hat is okay. I think if you had the hat isolated, you'd be like, it's kind of meh. But then when you put it all together, pretty rad. I think that MLB should have gone all the way in and made them wear aqua pants.
Yeah, that would have been cool. The emblem just looks like something like Harry Potter, like Death Eater would wear. It's like a bolo tie. That's what it looks like. It looks like a bolo tie someone would wear, in Arizona.
Oh, very much so. I think that now I can't unsee them with a bolo. Those need to have bolo ties.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a step up. If they had bolo ties
Come on.
and gun holsters.
Spurs on the back of the cleats.
Exactly.
Yeah. Revolvers on the side, just ready to go, dude. Yeah, but overall, I don't think this is a miss, but I don't think it's like a big dub. It is for sure better than that sand-colored mess that they had.
100%.
So it is an improvement, but it's still not like top tier.
Yeah, and it's mostly a my preference thing. I think the colors look nice. I dig the teal. I'm just not really a snake dude.
Not a snake guy. Yeah.
Even though I owned a lizard for a while.
Those are two very different messages.
So much better.
Yeah. Lizards do. They like have feet.
Yeah.
They're not worming around on their tummy.
Yeah, they don't look at me all suspicious like they know more than me. That's what I don't like. I don't like how snakes look down to me. It's like, you're on your bellies, okay? You're not better than me.
Just constantly putting their tongue out at you.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, God hates you.
I'm a snake. I'm better than you.
Yeah, get out of here.
Get out of here. Scram. So, the Pittsburgh Pirates really had a wild week.
Mm-hmm.
It started with a concession worker going to a couple patrons and just playing some Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, dude.
And then taking off his belt in a pretty smooth motion. He had a couple tugs on it. Taking off his belt and then just walloping a fan.
Yeah, dude, that was not his first time using his belt as a weapon. That was way too smooth.
Dude, he was ready to go.
Yeah, that was pretty wild, pretty funny just to see anyone use a belt like that, just to really discipline somebody. I don't know what led up to that altercation, but I do think it was really funny that the Pirates organization released a statement and just saying, don't worry, we suspended this.
Yeah. We've moved him to another ballpark.
Yeah, we demoted him. We DFA'd him.
We waited for anyone to pick up the 10-day option. They didn't. So we sent him to the Riverhounds, the USL team.
Yeah.
He's covering a completely different sport now.
Yeah, he's going to work on his form down there. Don't you worry. We'll bring him back up. Might switch him over to suspenders. Try to really eliminate that from his arsenal.
Then he could use them as nunchucks.
Yeah.
Then he's got two. I also felt like they probably took him down to the cage, and then he just started swinging, and then they got the stat cast on how fast he was throwing the belt down. They're just like, you can increase velocity if you snap your wrist more. See here on the game tape?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then he just goes back to the concourse. He's like, I've learned so much.
Hitting the barrel right across the Adam's apple. Precision.
Dude, yeah, he was suspended. They didn't fire him. They suspended him because who wants to work there right now?
Oh, that's a good point. It's like, we cannot find anybody that wants to work here.
Yeah, here's the best part. They suspended this guy and then fired their manager in the same week.
Woo. Yeah, that's tough.
It's not Derek Shelton's fault.
Yeah, man, it's been a bit abysmal to be a Pirates fan right now. But, yeah. I mean,
their attendance numbers are down.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 weeks ago. It was a Friday night. It was like beautiful. It was like 71 degrees, whatever. Perfect night for baseball.
Perfect night to jump over a ledge.
Just fall right in, head first into that one.
Yeah.
13,000 people there. That's bad.
That is very bad.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame the fans for not going. I don't blame Derek Shelton for them being bad. I blame Bob Nutting, the owner, for not putting money in, and I blame the GM for not building a team. Like, I understand if you don't have money, you don't have the ability to sign free agents, then you can't make your team better.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of owners, people that are invested into like a lot of ball clubs or any sports clubs, do hide behind the fact that they don't want to invest in the idea of you need to spend money in order to make money. I think they like the formula of, hey, let's have one or two exciting guys and make the rest of our money on bobbleheads. That just kind of seems to be like the formula for some clubs.
Sure. And then they have, every team there's revenue sharing. And so the A's this last year, the MLB stepped in and was like, you got to spend some money or you're not getting revenue sharing. I'm like, fine, whatever. So the Pirates, I feel like the league needs to step in and go, hey, you have this pitching staff. You have you have pieces you can build around. You choose not to. So we're not going to share this money.
Yeah.
Or we're going to make you trade Paul Skeens for a huge package.
It does make sense. It is like if you've ever worked at a restaurant where you do tip shares at the end of the night and you have that one or two servers or bartenders that was just effing off the entire time.
That was me.
It's infuriating. It's I'm going to get my $40 no matter what.
Yep, I'm going to get it no matter what just because you know what? I'm here. We're going to do it. So And it's such a shame, dude. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's got Pittsburgh and us have the same rich baseball history. Mm-hmm. Yet we're trying, but we'll get to more of that later. But they're like not even trying, and they're just crying poor.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. It is a great ballpark. So, I mean, as far as not having another competitor in our division, I enjoy that. But my heart goes out to baseball fans in Pittsburgh and all around that do watch the Pirates because they don't have a good product on the field right now.
Bro, they ended their season basically mid-April. Just like the fans packed it up. And they were like, nah, this is bad. No thanks.
Also, too, just thinking about how much momentum they had after getting Skeens, and that is completely evaporated now.
Yeah, well, Jared Jones, too, getting hurt didn't help because they were hoping to have a three-headed monster. Mm-hmm. They were hoping to have a three-headed monster of Jones, Skeens, and then Keller. Well, Jones is hurt, so they're like, oh, okay, but they don't even address,
the offense.
Correct. Yeah, like Spencer Horowitz, that's your move? Mm-hmm. And then what they did to Rowdy Tellez last year was a sin. He only needed 3 more ABs or 4 more ABs to get that bonus, and they just DFA'd him.
That's so cheap.
That is so Bob Nutting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's a bummer. But hey, I'll take it. And also too, just thinking about the products on the field, we know for sure as Reds fans that you can have the best starting rotation or bullpen going for a while, but if you're putting up goose eggs all the time, so it just seems like their plan of attack was to just get by on the three-headed monster, just like the excitement of the pitching, and it's kind of let them just flounder around.
Right. And then you go west a little bit. We'll go to the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies lost to the Padres on Saturday, 21-0. The Padres' 21 runs are the second highest shutout in Major League history since 1900, behind the Pittsburgh Pirates' 22-0 win over the Chicago Cubs in 1975 and Cleveland's 22-0 win over the Yankees in 2004. According to Stats Perform, the major leading Padres, 25-13, are the first team to score at least 20 runs and have their starter post a 9-inning shutout since the Cincinnati Red Stockings did so against the Baltimore Orioles on August 10th, 1889.
Yeah, not since handlebar mustaches. That's pretty impressive.
And dip spit being the cure for canker sores.
Yes, all the ladies would have dips in watching these games, and when you're striking up, records that old in the 1800s, that's not a good sign.
You're abysmal. When women couldn't vote or own land, and you break a record.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
When they had people actually standing in the outfield as fans to be the home run wall, that's bad.
That's really bad. It's like, looks like Farnsworth went down. That's a four-baser.
Oh, no, Mr. Penningsworth. Oh, they're going to have to call him the substitute. He's going to have to change his monocle there.
Dude, also, you had a couple weeks ago, you had the owner of the Rockies go out and cry poor too. And say, we need, this revenue sharing isn't enough. We need a salary floor and a salary cap, which is lazy. Mm-hmm. And when you go and you look at it, the Rockies are always top 10 in attendance.
That is so crazy. That is impressive. One, I mean, the size of Denver itself. They can afford to have a bit more of a lackluster team, but the fact that they are seemingly not competing, we got to saw the Rockies not that long ago. Really bad team. You feel for them, but and then they go ahead. I mean, I'm jumping the gun here, but yeah. I feel bad for the fans there in Colorado too, because it seems to be a similar format of they're just laying it up to a certain spot and not competing,
phoning it in. Then they went and they fired Bud Black. How is any of this his fault?
If he were to make this team be somewhere around 500, they should give him the keys to the city. He is just working with just very little here. He's working with quad A players and trying to be in the most competitive division, arguably, in baseball right now. Yeah. So it's extraordinarily difficult to gain any momentum there and build up anything respectable. So yeah, that is just and the owners know that. They're not expecting anything. This is probably plotted out beforehand. It's okay, at what point do we get in this season to where we let Bud Black go?
Yeah. Well, when you have a historically bad loss, you kind of change your plans and you cut ties with a vet like him, which is a shame.
He did get one last win though, so that was nice. I think
They won today.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they won today, and so he got his final game. They got a win, so that was nice for him.
They did win today. They're only 7-33. I mean, think about the major free agent signing the Rockies have had, and that would be Chris Bryant. And he publicly said, "Oh, I wish I would have not done that." Mm-hmm. So they're not even trying. They're throwing out like Mickey Moniak, who we all was a mega prospect, never really worked out in Anaheim. But it's just like, I understand that the rest of the division is an onslaught. The Diamondbacks are actively trying and think that they can compete with everybody, and I agree. Going out and signing Corbin Burns, who was really good this weekend. They go and trade for Josh Naylor to add more power at first. The Dodgers have more money than God, and the Padres are just so well constructed and have those cornerstones and dudes that they've signed. So the Rockies are like, why bother?
Yeah, it does seem very difficult to be there and upsetting that you have such those big monsters in your division, but you can't be this transparent with your lack of effort.
No, and you just at least fake it. Like, that's another thing where honestly, if there was another ownership group that came in, they could turn it around quickly.
Or at least do something like this too. I know they have good attendance, but Pittsburgh could do this too. Let people bring in their own food, or
You can do that everywhere in MLB.
Or firearms.
Now
we're talking Pittsburgh.
I'm into that, dude. AR night at PNC Park.
You can bring in your motorbike. Bring in a dirt bike.
Yeah. You can put mounted machine guns on your rascal.
Yes, okay. You can do that.
Yeah, then you can chase them on the field for the pierogi race.
Yeah, we will let you sit in the dugout, and you can dip with the players.
We'll let you come onto the field and go lefty or righty. You can make the call.
Let them cut the grass. They probably like that out there.
Dude, it's a shame. And just because, like, the Rockies, they go on these unexpected runs. In the 2010s, they were really good, and with Story and Arenado, and they, gave a shit, and now it's just so bad. I feel so bad for that entire fan base. Even though Denver has become more of a transient city, but still the people who have been there are just getting completely shafted.
Yeah, they did have some nice runs there for a while. They had like Todd Helton.
Yeah.
They had some Blackburn. They had a lot of good guys.
Charlie
Blackmon. Yeah.
Yeah, who just retired last year.
Yeah, so when you think back about former clubhouses that they had, I don't recall it ever being this bad.
No. This is exceptional dog shit.
Yeah.
Where you watched with the A's the past 2 years, they had pieces where you're and they had a good farm system. Mm-hmm. They knew what they were doing. And they were bottoming out, sure. But at the same time, they were plugging away, and you see the results of it this year. Like what Jake talked about. He's they're my sneaky prediction to make the AL playoffs. And they're doing it on the backs of young pitching, smart veteran moves, and young position players like Tyler Soderstrom, Nick Kurtz, and Jacob Wilson.
Yeah.
They're doing, and yet you look at the Rockies and you go, what are you building? And you're like, I like Chase Dollander. The guy could have potential, but you don't know what their pitching philosophy is. You don't know what their development philosophies are. You don't know where they're going, and they're a bottom farm system because of that.
It seems like they have both no short-term and long-term goals or strategy.
None. And it's it's an embarrassment. So you why I really want to talk about this is because we're going to this is going to be a rough one to talk about with our boys this week. Mm-hmm. It's a really rough one. I want to put it into perspective that although we aren't happy with the moves that the Reds have made and what they have done, Candelario, we also need to know that they are at least trying within the constructs and the confounds that they have in pushing forward.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to the organization, the Reds, for getting some really big signs. I mean, honestly, Trevino, Gavin Lux, Hayes, those turn out to be some of the most beneficial pickups that we had. They're producing more than most of our regulars.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Krall thrives, is in the margins, and he's done that, and it shows again. And a great move to extend Trevino. There's a lot of good. There's some good, but there's a lot of bad that we're going to talk about later. But I just wanted to put it into perspective of look how awful Pittsburgh and Colorado are before we are critical about our team and go kind of a little hard in the paint. Just, I wanted to be fair
Yes.
because I'm not happy this week.
sure.
Let's start with the Reds with some real BS. Okay, Tyler Callahan went out to go right into the wall in left field to catch a ball. He gets it. His body collides with the wall. You hear the thud on the broadcast. Crumples down on the ground. Opens up his glove. The ball rolls out. Matt Olson then scores. They take a look at it. The rule is that he has to have complete control even when he's going down to the ground with it, and the intention of having it go from the glove to the hand or coming out. There is something there that finalizes that it was a catch. So I understand that. I was like, okay, I guess that's the rule. Then Saturday night, Trent Grisham catches one in center field and flips it to Judge. Like one fell swoop, gets it, pulls it in, and then he highlights it over to Judge. And he misses Judge. And Kotsay, the A's manager, comes out and he goes, that's not a catch. He didn't complete the movement of the transfer. And then the umps were like, no, he did. Just don't, whatever. It's fine. And they just let it slide. I want to start here. Do you agree with the call for the Reds? Against them, knowing the constructs of the rule?
When I saw the play, and I watched it as many times as what I could tolerate, that is a catch in my mind. If that isn't a catch, then I don't know what catching a ball is. I understand that, I understand watching it, he catches it, collides in the wall, feels that impact where his forearm just gets annihilated, and then you see him move his arm back and then let his glove fall off. I felt like he made his complete athletic move, caught the ball, went to bring his hand in, and when he realizes, oh, my arm is not an arm anymore, that's when he decided to make another move to let his glove drop.
Right.
And then reading the text as it's written, I understand that call, but at the same time, I hate this weird area where we're in where there is no gray area, where it's black, white, this, that, but it gets applied selectively sometimes. That's a catch. I think the ump should have called it a catch. I thought they should at least stop the play of it. It just seems so bananas that they would let that kind of play out. I get it, but at the same time, as you watch that, I felt that was a catch. I don't understand why play didn't stop at that point. But yeah, then you watch what the Yankees did. It is kind of infuriating. It's hard not to feel that bigger market sensation of where, okay, if we had a lot more fans or whatever, that would have been called our way. So yeah, it sucks. I do think it's BS. But I think we really need to figure out, like, what are the priorities and the emphasis of the rules? Like, what are we trying to get out of this as opposed to getting way too lost in semantics?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The thing that he did is he continued running, and so that allowed them to be like, all right, well, that's just the call. I mean, his arm became a skin sack full of bone chips. Have some empathy. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, they just needed to make that call. And I don't know. The gray area I'm with you on, too. I think it just sucks because that was what swung the game. I mean, the Reds still lost 4-0. Those 2 runs or whatever, that didn't help, but it still swung the momentum back Atlanta's way. It's just, I don't know. I thought it was a catch. I think it's bullshit, and that kid put his arm on the line.
He really did. And then you see later in the series where there was a clear blocking of the bag where that didn't get called.
Dude.
And that was the one where I was just like, okay, why do rules even exist at this point?
Well, he had the ball. He can block the play. You don't have to give someone a lane to slide if you have the ball. So that's where that one went through. And then the homer off the top of the wall, they're calling that not a homer. It was just a rough week for our Reds with umpires. And we'll get into it later, especially with the strike zone with CB Buckner today. Like, there's a lot where you're like, man, there's so much against this team. But at the same time, you got to attempt to overcome it.
Yeah, it's not out of the Reds' hands as to why they got in this position where they're at right now, being 2 under 500, I believe, in a situation that could have been a lot more over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just painful.
Very much so. But there are some bright spots in this we're going to try to highlight, although we're not going to necessarily sugarcoat some of this.
No, and look, and we might sound like a broken record over this when we go through and we break it down, but like, that's just where we are right now. And until some things start to flip and change, it's like, that's where we are. Who Reigned this week, brought to you by Cincy Light. Cincy Light, the flavor of Cincinnati. Luis May started with a lot of buzz down in AAA. A lot of buzz coming out of spring training. He's been up here, and now he's a powerhouse. Dude, he topped at 102.1 miles per hour on his sinker in his last outing. Would you like to see him in more high-leverage situations and potentially take the mantle of closer for this ball club?
I don't want to put any hurdles in his way or say there's anything that we shouldn't allow him to do at this point because he has thrived. I do like his composure. He seems to be very relaxed in the moment, and his stuff does speak for itself. And he's been successful in the roles that we put him in so far. So do I see him potentially getting that role as a closer or something later on in the year? Yeah, I can see that definitely happening. Who knows where the chips will fall with the amount of like interchangeable pieces and health and durability throughout the season. So yeah, I think he would be a great person to fill into the closer role or be a setup person. You do like seeing, Luis May, Santillan, Pagan, Ashcraft. You can see how the game in an ideal situation to have your hammers out there can shorten the game, and I think he's going to be a big component of that.
Yeah, I think he's more than just a hammer. This guy is
Jackhammer.
Jackhammer, yeah. It took me a second to find it. I found it. He hasn't qualified to really make some noise on Baseball Savant, but one thing he has qualified, fastball velo, 97th percentile with an average fastball velocity of 98.8 miles per hour. Dotting, hitting people with the slider, hitting them with the sinker. I am thoroughly impressed. I do want to see him in more high leverage situations. I think he'll get there when other people's the bullpen will move and shake around. Like I do like Santillan in the eighth and coming in and setting up for Pagan. But I can also see them rotating within days. Like Santillan just pitched the eighth yesterday. We're going to have Luis May there now. Like, we'll see him move up more in the pecking order in this bullpen because he's been so good.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's in the right place at the right time to showcase his talents and be the setup guy or potentially, the backstop.
Yeah, I could just totally see him with this gas and the way that he's dotting. And if he continues to do this, we'll be looking a couple more months and he could be the closer. I'm not saying anything against Emilio Pagan. Emilio Pagan has done an excellent job. It's just when you have this young guy coming with this type of velocity and just those two pitches, boy howdy, put yourself in a tough spot, and you just got to be like, come on in.
And just having the confidence of having another option.
Yeah, dude, there's so much depth. There's a lot there. So it's awesome. It's great. He reigned this week because there's a lot of bummers. There's a lot of bummers. Let's look at all of our starting pitching here. Nick Martinez on Sunday against the Nationals. I was there. It was rainy. It was gross. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 4 hits, no walks, 6 Ks. The changeup was working. He got through the rain. That is the Nick Martinez line that we want to see. Length, quality outing, quality start, less than 3 earned runs. 1 earned run's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And just like controlling the tempo. That's the thing like I think Nick Martinez does well is making sure the game is in his control. Like we're seeing a lot of pitchers do that against the Reds where it just seems to be like we're playing with their tempo as opposed to, them battling against us and what we're trying to do tempo-wise.
And then Nick Martinez went out against the Astros, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 10 hits, no walks, so that's something, 5 Ks. Again, that is a quality start. That's a lot of hits. That's not a sexy fantasy baseball number. But again, it helps save your bullpen, which had a lot on its load this week with something that happened that we'll get to in a second. So knowing that he can go out there and give you a quality start every 5 days is exactly what we wanted from him. He's improved. He's got his changeup back. His curveball's getting better. He is looking closer to his normal self. Not as dominant as he was towards the end of last year, but looking like the guy that we gave $21 million to be this.
Yeah, I agree. He keeps trending in the right direction, and I do like that he's able to get length and also make in-game adjustments to where you can see like 10 hits, but also only gives up 3 runs because I feel like when he has guys on base, he is more comfortable than some others that don't have as much experience as what he does.
100%. Totally agreed. Man, just looking at the chart from Saturday, it's just oof. Oh wait, no, that was Friday. Yeah, that was Friday when he went out. Just 23 sinkers, 20 sliders. He's not getting a lot of whiffs. He is getting some whiffs on the cutter, but it's not crazy. But that's not who he is. That's not the game he plays.
He's doing some good grouping there too, so focusing on the tunneling there. So I like seeing the consistency more with those particular pitches.
Yeah, inside on lefties, away from righties with the sinker and the slider cutting away, and then that curveball coming in low. Yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing that's going to jump off the page, but it's something where it's like, this is consistency. This is exactly why he's here. Brady Singer, though. In Atlanta, 6 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks. He gave you the length of that one, but that, again, is another ugly line. He got 2 whiffs on his cutter, 1 whiff on his four-seamer. Sinker slider, 0 whiffs. And that continued going into the Astros on Saturday, where he went 2 1/3, 7 earned runs, 9 hits, 1 walk, 1 K, 1 whiff on the slider, 1 whiff on the sinker.
Yeah, man. His control was not there, and that makes it so much easier for professional hitters when they aren't getting all the time competitive pitches. So he just wasn't as sharp, and so he's easier to pick apart at that point.
Dude, he looked so bad. He just looked lost. I mean, he had his control was gone. Everything was gone that day. It was the worst version that we have seen of him this season, and you hope that he doesn't do this again. But there were signs of him doing this in the last start. When he was out in Atlanta. You're like, oh boy, he's got to make an adjustment.
Yeah, and I think he will. He's a good pitcher, but it just didn't really have it the past couple starts.
Yeah. And do you think also, too, like maybe, when he was grooving, he's getting all those Ks, like he could be hunting for that now, and that can also get in your head, and that can change your placement. It can you start putting pressure on yourself. You're changing what got you to where you were successful. That could be a possibility here too.
Yeah, and just knowing that you don't want to push more innings onto the bullpen, so you get in these situations where people do try to press a little bit, and everything is so connected in this game. So yeah, I can see people trying to press a little bit and overexert themselves.
Yeah, rough week for a pen. Just between that and then what also happened in Atlanta. But dude, Andrew Abbott, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 4 hits, no walks to 8 Ks. Whoa, boy, howdy. When his fastball's cooking, when he's hitting high, he's hitting high. He's hitting inside, and then he's dropping the sweeper, the changeup, and the curveball. This is what happens, and he fools you with his velocity.
Exactly. He's doing well when people are behind on his 94-mile-per-hour four-seamer, which is great because when he's living up in that zone and can control your eyesight and is really good at mixing up speeds, this is the type of Andrew Abbott that we like. Granted, we would like to see him go, a bit longer, but like you said, no walks and 8 Ks.
Yeah, and when you've got 8 Ks, you're probably getting into longer counts, which that happens, and you will exit the game sooner. But the no runs is fantastic. This is what we want to see from this dude, and I think this is that next step that we have talked about with him, and he is, he's doing it like he had those 1,476,000 strikeouts in Baltimore in that one start. Now we saw it again here in Atlanta with a lineup that isn't too hot, but he took care of business, and this is the guy we want to see continuing moving forward. And if he can, like we said, dot the fastball high, dot the fastball inside, hit him with the break and stuff, changing the velocity. Because you look at it, his changeup is 85.3 miles per hour, just average, right? And then his fastball is 92.8 on average, but it's just the spin he generates and the way he places it, and that's when he's successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome to see. This Oh, man, this sucked. Dude, Hunter Green, 3 innings pitched, no earned runs, 2 hits, no walks, 6 Ks. 53 pitches, he's cruising along, he takes a warm-up throw, feels a pop, and goes, get me out of here. Then he had an MRI, grade 1 groin strain.
Bummer. I will say, though, that it is so much better than what you thought it could have been. And also, too, I was not able to watch on TV, so I'm trying to follow along on my phone.
Yeah.
And when I see, game time injury, and they replace Hunter, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So, all in all, this is a lot better than what it could have been. However, seeing a guy that's on a Cy Young type run right now, granted it's still early-ish in this season, it's a bummer. Yeah, he had 6 Ks up until the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being absolutely dominant, putting together another great resume to this season, and then, has this hiccup.
This sucks. It just sucks because when you don't want to force a groin strain, because if you're forcing a groin strain, you're forcing a groin strain like that, and all of that push and your velocity comes from your bottom half. Mm-hmm. And if it's like still just a little bit off, you're putting pressure on your shoulder, you're putting pressure on your elbow, and you could wipe out a whole season by making something pop up here. So I want him to take his time. He's going to miss 2 starts at least. Grade 1, it's not too bad, but it's still not good. I want him to take his time. I want him to fully recover.
Yeah, get work on that. Go to masseuse. Take it easy. Do what you got to do. Get your chakras aligned. But you don't want to see like this lingering injury for such like a big muscle area. And also too, Hunter Green is a lot of legs, and so that's where he gets a lot of being able to throw 100 miles an hour. It's coming a lot from the bottom up. And if this is something that's not completely there, or say you get into the summer where things are a lot hotter, you're not as hydrated, that's when those groin strains can exacerbate. So 2 starts off sounds appropriate. Hopefully it's not more than that, and hopefully you can come back and pick up right where you left off.
Dude, we all know that Hunter Green is never underhydrated.
Yes, we do know that for sure.
For a fact, never underhydrated. Mm-mm. Sometimes too much.
Exactly.
He's just, overloaded to the brim. But yeah, you still want him to take that time and not really force and rush back. So they did like they, I think this is a different regime. So like when you saw last year with Hunter Green in his elbow hitting it on the cabinet, came back, had one more start, then they shut him down. Mm-hmm. I don't think you'll see something where they're rushing him back. So to just try to get back on it, especially with something in the lower half. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're facing the Chicago White Sox this next upcoming series. So we'll see. Hopefully, this isn't something that we're talking about for too much longer, because we really want to see Hunter get back out there, give length again, so that we don't have to have the bullpen carry too many innings and put the Reds in a good situation to win.
Yeah. And then you've got Nick Lodolo against the Braves. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, no walks. 7 Ks, cooking, living low, dude, living low, hitting the sinker low. It looks like he didn't have, like when we were watching it, he had no strikes in the top half of the zone. He pounded middle, he pounded low, outside, and low. And what's happening is that sinker, it's starting to move low, it's coming inside on both sides of the plate, hitting the dots, and then curveball, and that curveball with the shape of it being not over the top like we've talked about, just living low and kind of breaking that way. Back foot, he was just straight up cooking.
Yeah, you can see the grouping here where there's hardly anything at all in the top third of the zone, minus like a few 4-seamers that are kind of up and out. But yeah, the grouping here is solid. You can see like kind of the game plan of just playing off pitches and being a lot more comfortable, realizing or just feeling like he is a couple steps ahead of a hitter. Yeah. So this is very promising. It was great to see, and I love watching Nick Lodolo pitch.
I love it. 6 whiffs on the curveball. Called strike whiff percentage on his curveball, 37.9%. And then on the sinker, called strike whiff percent, 35.5%. You just love to see it.
Yeah.
He's locked in. But then you look at this whole week. You had one real bad start from Brady Singer. You had a not so great start from Brady Singer, and then Hunter Green goes down. And then you get to Chase Petty on Sunday. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 Ks or 6 walks, 4 Ks, 1 homer. This was dramatically better than his last start.
Mm-hmm.
He still came out in the first inning. He was overthrowing. He wasn't finishing his delivery, and the ball was just sailing. Okay. Then he kind of got it together, and you watched him throw in some nice sequences, get those Ks, but he was getting pinched by CB Buckner.
He for sure was, and it's really shaky being out there. You know, it's his second start. So trying to just find himself on the mound and then losing a bit of confidence in some of that stuff when he is getting pitched. And just he was falling off still, but there was times when he did have great sequences, had some great breaking balls and off-speed pitches, and was able to find, the corners with that fastball. But again, his control still wasn't there.
No.
So hence only going 3 innings and walking 6. However, CB Buckner did not help, but again, the Reds helped even less in their effort.
Yeah, they couldn't have done less. The offense could not have done less. But, dude, he missed inside on a changeup, and that's where that homer went. That was a pro swing. That was a rookie mistake. And you just you tip your cap and you move on, and he kept fighting. Like he never looked overpowered. He never looked he never looked not confident. He was a little shaky, but dude, he's going to be good. He just needs to have a couple more starts up here, get into his rhythm and his routine that he has in AAA, where he went down there 6 innings pitched, 8 Ks, no runs, and get it up here because he has the stuff. He just needs to get comfortable. And he started getting there, and then there was a lot of borderline calls where you're like, okay, CB, you need to be Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, exactly. We need a DFAU. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he did go deep into counts. I did see that he was getting a lot of 2 strikes on batters, just not able to really put them away. This is one of these things. There's so many, again, like we're talking about, these like borderline things, these little things that kind of just pile up on each other. And yeah, and then just his pitch count just really stacked up early, and then he started to lose a bit more confidence and command.
Yep, he did, and it was just a bummer. But dude, like that, there was a sequence where he had an inside changeup, inside sinker, and then hit him away with that slider, and that thing had to have had at least 18 inches of horizontal break. I mean, it was gnarly.
Yeah, no one's questioning his stuff. I mean, once he's able to refine that more and also figure out how to, be on that mound and just be a bit more zen and in control of, his intense emotions up there.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. This is his second start, so I'm not concerned about it, in the long run.
In the long run, I think we will see him again in this next rotation. While Hunter Green is out, we will see him fill that spot. As he should, because he's earned it. It's just you gotta show it, and there has been improvements. So I'm feeling good about it. So
ditto.
Good job, Chase. We're rooting for you, pal. Bullpen, after singing their praises last week, they did pick up a lot of slack. They had to pick it up today. They had to pick it up for Hunter Green. They had to pick it up for Brady Singer. A lot of guys. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with more than 4 innings or more pitched out of the pen. Graham's had some rough outings. Gave up 3 against the Nats. Gave up 2 against the Braves. In these high leverage situations, he's kind of wilting. Do you have any concern there, or are you just saying we're letting him grow into the role and you're just letting it happen?
I don't have a tremendous amount of concern. I do think there were probably a handful of hits where he made a good pitch. They didn't have solid contact, but they put enough on it to where they could punch it out, into shallow left or something. Or he does something kind of silly, makes a bad throw, fielding, a bad hit, something like that. And he's not going to have all the best, outings, and I think we put him under a microscope just because he was a starting pitcher. Now we're thinking, is he going to work in this role? So, like, his failures, I think, get blown up a little bit more than some of the others in the pen.
Yeah.
Maybe excluding Alexis Diaz. But He could have been better, and I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you that. So I'm not terribly concerned about Ashcraft. I still think he's going to be a great dude to have in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, you reach a breaking point, and it was a long run of, what was it, like 17 games they played on the road.
Yeah.
Had a lot of rain delays, long games, extra innings, swings of emotion. I mean, think about the workplace the Reds have, just how drastic they go from scoring 13 runs, 20 runs, or whatever it is, and then goose egg.
Yeah.
That's a stressful environment to play in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's going to be an effect on that.
Yeah. Overall for the week, 4 1/3 innings pitched. He faced 23 total batters, 5 earned runs, a home run, 3 walks. But the promising number there is 6 Ks. So you kind of wish, the length, this travel schedule, everything's getting jumbled around. You got to give him a little bit of a break, and I do. Scott Barlow has kind of regressed this week. 4 walks to 1 K. I think overall on the year he has more walks than Ks.
That's concerning. Also, too, considering he is 2 2/3 inning pitch that he got those 4 walks, and coming out of the bullpen, that would be something that is right within your job description of not walking people. I know much easier said than done, but when you're looking at the amount of walks this past week, I believe that they gave up, it does stand out. So, whereas before the bullpen has been doing great, but this is clearly a dip. But it also comes at a time where they've been flexed a whole bunch, called upon a whole bunch, and have just had probably a nightmare of a sleep schedule for some of these outings.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. Barlow this year, 16 2/3 innings pitched. He has 9 earned runs in those appearances. Given up a home run. He has 13 strikeouts, 14 walks.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. His K per 9, 7.02. His walks per 9, 7.56. So as much as you're striking out, you're walking more. So you're creating more opportunities for their teams to score, and they've taken advantage of it. His left on base percentage is at 67.7%, and his BABIP is 245. So it's not looking good. I don't know how long of a leash you give him before you DFA and you go, all right, Sam Mole's ready. Oh, Ian Jabot's back. Or something where you go, hey, Scott Barlow, 15-day IL. Right shoulder impingement.
Upper half achiness.
Upper halfy, night, no goody good. So that's the biggest chink in the armor for me has been him. So it's just, again, they picked it up and pitched a lot. I mean, Suter with 4 innings this week. Gave up a homer, but he's only given up 1 earned run in those 4 innings. I mean, so I'm not overly concerned about the bullpen still. I'm really not. And Lyon Richardson, like we said last week, and Jake said, like, if he's going to continue to do this, he's going to thrive. Keep him in the pen. I mean, 3 2/3 innings pitched. He faced 18 batters. He didn't give up a home run. He's got 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. So that's not great, but still, he gave you length as a guy you called up.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys are coming in really putting out fires, being requested to go longer innings, back-to-back nights. So that should be considered as well, just the amount of stress they've been put under. But, not the best week for the bullpen. But all things considered, they could have had a lights-out, week, and it really wouldn't have mattered.
No, it wouldn't have even come close to mattering.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go look at this lineup. They score 10 runs in 1 inning. They win a game with 13 runs. There's a lot of goose eggs this week. Now, let's look at the team stats for the week. Their weighted runs created plus is 70, so 30 runs below average. They have a minus 0.2 WAR on the week. They have a 12.2% walk rate to a 30.4% strikeout rate. It's bad. The average, 196. On base, 300. The slug, 311. Like, this is bad.
It is bad, and they...
It is bad.
And all the numbers you look at, like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's even worse. That is not good. That is horrifying. What I'm seeing here are pitchers looking like all-stars against our Reds all the time. And I think they are allowing the starting pitchers to get way too comfortable starting off early and getting in a rhythm and just getting behind in counts and missing pitches that they normally would crush. And I know we've talked a lot, and we prefaced this to start off with sounding like broken records, but Matt McLain, Steer, Ellie, probably pick a few more players.
I got a list.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I think I see it attached. They are missing fastballs, middle a lot, or even other mistake pitches that are extraordinarily hittable that in, last year or 2 years ago for Matt McLain, they would have, doubled off the wall or something. And I think that's building the confidence in these pitchers when they're fouling off these mistake pitches, where those are the ones that you're supposed to really cash in on and make that pitcher throw out of the stretch, make them feel uncomfortable, as opposed to make them feel like, oh man, I'm on top of the world right now. I just let a fastball down the middle of the plate and they just whiffed on it.
Whiff.
So it just makes them feel a lot more comfortable, the pitchers, more so than our batters.
Yeah, I mean, here's a couple highlights before we really get into it.
Okay.
A couple highlights. TJ Friel, 304, 500, 565 with an OPS of 1.065. He had 2 homers in one game with 4 RBIs. But what was really encouraging was 9 walks to 6 strikeouts. So he's getting on. That's what you want your leadoff guy to do. He's leaned into it. He had a really good week, and that's, boom, awesome. You're starting off hot. And then another guy who had a good week, even though in a limited amount of games, where he only played in 3 games, where he had 11 ABs. Wheels! Jose Trevino, 364, 727 with an OPS of 1.091. Continues to be hot up at the dish. Then you look at the rest of it, and it's bleak. I mean, Ellie homered this week, but 13 Ks to 1 walk is real bad. Rhys Hines homered. Don't let him get hot again.
Better not.
I want to get back to that one in a second. Matt McLain homered, had an on-base percentage of 355 in the week, but his average 167. He had 4 hits in 24 plate appearances. These are dudes where you're like, man, lost. And it's not like they're seeing some crazy dominant pitching. I mean, Framber Valdez did look good. Blanco looked good today. Smith-Shawver was cooking too against us, but it's just like these are dudes in the league.
These are dudes that you should be able to compete with and be able to get on base more times than what they are currently.
Yeah.
And I will say Matt McLain, he has been having a lot of hard contact off and on. I was seeing a lot of times he's hitting the ball 90 plus, 100 plus, but he's hitting a line drive or didn't get enough air under it, something like that. But then again, he is also regressing at times where it feels like he's swinging and whiffing on pitches that he would never even offer at previously. And again, fouling off the mistake fastball, where that is your opportunity to get on base, drive and runs, get your extra base hit.
Yeah.
And then he's just finding himself, and I think a lot of 3-2 counts and just not being himself.
Yeah, and look, I know that he was out all last year. We've talked about that. But my thing is, how much longer can we wait? And when he hit that homer, I was like, whew, here we go. This maybe that momentum rolls into next week and he starts putting more and more together. I hope that is the case. Rhys Hines coming up and homering. Dude, he went on that tear last year, and then the All-Star break happened, and he got out of the rhythm. He's a dude I've always liked. I love Rhys Hines. I would love to see him go on another run. He could do it. These are all things we're saying could happen, but what we're having is that aren't happening, and this offense is bad when you have a above average bullpen and you have really good starting pitching. It does not matter if you cannot score.
Yeah, and it makes the game super boring, depressing, and it puts it. Everything is connected in this sport. When you have a pitcher, might have to work a little bit extra, and then he sits down in the dugout, and then your offense goes 1, 2, 3. You're like, well, crap! I didn't get a chance to take a break there. Let's see if I don't overexert myself.
Yeah,
everything is really connected to this. And to talk about Matt McLain, yeah, he's coming off of having not played at all last season, and I'm not worried about him for his career of going to. He's a great ball player. He's a phenomenal ball player. Same with Spencer Steer.
Yeah.
And I have said this, I feel like podcast after podcast, that give him a little time and he's going to break out of it. Yeah. I still believe that, but we're 40 games in, and it's so easy to lose a season early on because you're losing games that you should be winning. and you're having your guys that you relied on last year or in previous years, Matt McLean, Steer, to be getting on and putting better at bats together, and it's just not really happening. So hoping that the Chicago White Sox series will be enough to get them enough at bats, get familiar with being a good baseball player again, getting extra base hits, connecting, barreling balls, and then hopefully that'll be enough to kind of, get a bit more friction under them to get out of this funk.
To just move on, baby. Just to push forward. I heard this on Power Stacks. It's Charlie Goldsmith and Brian Giesensal's podcast. Chris Falake of the Reds hitting coach went on and said, I think this team needs to bunt more. It'll open up more lanes and more opportunities for us to get hits and to get extra base hits. I don't really want to mince my words here. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. The teams who have the best record in the game, the top 5, you know what they do? Hit for power.
They mash. That's what they do. They have people that can send the ball in the gaps. I feel like this is applying... they're thinking about like, okay, what happens when we have a lot of players injured and we can't be successful hitting the ball? So it seems to be like a default for teams that aren't good hitters is to figure out how to engage something else. How do we put the ball on the ground and let us run around? Well, yeah, you can be good at bunting. Maybe have a handful of guys that can do that in certain situations, like a squeeze bunt,
TJ Friel.
Yeah, a sacrifice, when appropriate. But having that be your first offensive weapon, seemingly, or leaning into that more, it's kind of like a sign of a weaker offense.
It's cheap. It's cheap baseball.
I don't know how many guys you really want to be. And if you have all your guys healthy, I don't know how many guys I would want to bunt in a situation for a base hit, unless it's a sneaky thing coming from like TJ Friel, unless you have potentially, a guy on second with no outs later on in the game, and you need to move him to third. Right. I don't like that being one of the main focuses, seemingly.
I mean, we saw Matt McLean do that today, try to drop down a bunt to get on, and it was close. But it's like, this is a guy that has doubles and homers power from second base. Like, this is a guy that we have seen when he is fully himself be a top producer and be an exceptional bat out of the second base position. I don't want him to get comfortable with being like, I can just cheaply bunt and blah, blah, blah. No.
No, I don't want to see that either.
We need to get his eyes right. We need to get his swing right. We need to get all this right instead of just kind of giving up and being like, let's just bunt. That's a fool's errand.
It is, and it'll mess with his psyche even more of just figuring like, okay, turns out you can't hit in the majors, so let's figure out how to bunt.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for him. And he's a masher. He's a guy that's got great power. He is just in a bit of a funk right now, not seeing it too well. But you do see when he does make good, solid contact, he can knock the ball out of the ballpark. And I think it's just a matter of seeing the ball again, still getting those reps in, and getting in a rhythm to where he is hitting the ball on the line and he isn't striking out and he isn't missing those mistake pitches.
Yep. Dude, couldn't agree with you more on that, dude. It's just, I think he will come around. I don't know how much longer we can wait and be like, well, we'll put Espinal in second, send him down to AAA, mash and hit the shit out of the ball like Will Benson, then bring him back up, like do what they did with Novi Marte, like he went down and hit and just beat the shit out of the ball, then came back up here. Like I don't think you do that with him, especially knowing that they offered him a contract extension, trying to buy out his ARB and shit and try to keep him around. So I just don't see them doing that. But the Reds did make a move. They traded Andrew Moore and cash considerations to the Padres for Connor Joe. He plays first, he plays left, he plays right. This is a depth move. This is a guy where you're trying to stay above water and you're like, I guess we'll go get Connor Joe. Mm-hmm. Good story, good guy. Reds legend. Was in camp in 2019 with them, but nothing really jumps out and says, oh boy, what a great move.
Yeah, it's not a sexy move. I do like seeing that long hair in the bases. That is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It is adding more depth, but it's just padding around the side. So it's not a sexy move, but it is something that I do think the Reds were in need of because they are not too healthy.
They're not healthy. So far, this season, he's played in 7 games for the Padres. He's gotten 10 plate appearances, 9 ABs, and no hits. So he had a hit today or yesterday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday.
RBI too, I think.
RBI. So you're like, okay, all right.
And it's a stolen base too, I think, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. I think them making this move now is you are showing your hand, and it's an act of desperation. So then when it comes time to the trade deadline and you really want to make some moves, the moves that we hope that they're going to do and that we have talked about, and you go to show your hand, people will smell the stink. They'll smell the desperation and take the Reds to the cleaners.
Yeah, I think if we need to make any moves, people know that our backs are against the wall, and they know what we're gunning for in trying to win the division. So I think it will be a bit more difficult for us to come up with anything beneficial without paying out the ass for it.
Yeah, without just losing an elite arm. We all know that Rhett Lauder and Chase Burns are off the table. So, but anything around there, I'm kind of willing to move from. But I don't want to get just don't want to get completely reamed. I don't want to get Marlins like they did what they did with the O's. But then you kind of look around and you take a quick peek at the dudes that we wanted this offseason. Anthony Santander has not lived up to the hype. 196, 275, 336 with an RC. Weighted runs created plus of 76. Jock Peterson had a historic hitless streak. He was like 0 for 76. Finally, he started to put it together. I think he homered this weekend in Detroit. And Michael Conforto hasn't been good either. So it's like all these options that we wanted to help the outfield haven't been good. So it's kind of a useless exercise to say like, man, what if it'd be different? It's not. It would not have been different.
I know there was a handful of other names. We're talking about Teoscar Hernandez. That would have been a big ticket.
Oh, that would have been great.
Luis Roberts Jr. I think is starting to come around a little bit.
Yeah, he's been on fire. Here's what you're going up against. You're going up against the Phillies on that one. Mm-hmm. The Phillies will be willing to move Andrew Painter, their best prospect. But if the White Sox are looking for depth and more pieces, then they're going to come to the Reds. It's just, are the Reds going to give that up? Are they going to meet the White Sox asking price?
I really hope they do something here, just because we don't want to get in a situation again where we waste a talent like we did with Joey Votto. Granted, I loved getting to see Votto. They didn't do enough to pad around him and make it a successful career for him here, and I would hate to see the same for Ellie for as long as we have him, to just be playing very medium baseball.
Yeah, to be in the conversation for the third wild card spot or coming close to winning this division. It was just a rough week. It's been a rough couple weeks.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of season, so I want to not fully jump off the ledge in any way, shape, or form and saying, doing the broad sweep of saying, wasting Ellie's time like we did with Joey. Because, straight up, they did do that to Joey. We have the history. And it's infuriating. But they are kind of making a little bit more of an effort here. It's not like it's 2017, 2018 all over again. So I don't know. It's just bad. I'm tired of hoping that the bats come around. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, and they can do it. They're a great group of athletes. It's just they seem to just be not really clicking right now. And I can't wait for it to happen. I don't think we're going to be talking in terms like this for the rest of the season.
No.
I think something will start clicking. And you can see how contagious it is when they do start to hit. It just spreads like wildfire throughout that clubhouse. And then it just go cold another night. So I just don't know. I just think they got to break up the rhythm, what they're doing, somehow just get a little bit more loose and just kind of find a nice, healthy rhythm.
Yeah.
And relax and play the ball that they know they can.
Yeah. And it's it's just it all goes back to Nick Krall saying, we're trying to get rid of peaks and valleys. This team is the definition of that with 13, 24 runs and then 0, 0, 0. This is what this team is. As much as you wanted to eliminate that, it is happening, and that quote is going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
I completely agree. I just can't think of how many times I can ever recall in previous seasons scoring, 10 plus and then just getting shut out the next day. It seems to be like clockwork. Whenever the Reds, go off, then they have a situation where they just bat silent.
Just desolate. So we'll hope, maybe Austin Hayes will start getting comfortable again after his hamstring, start hitting, and we'll see what happens. And Reese Hines gets hot, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That'd be awesome. I'm rooting for the kid.
And that's the other thing that you just brought up. Just think about the amount of times like they've had to swap out pieces, and so things just keep shifting a lot. So there isn't, Reese Hines just coming back up, and then Matt McClain, Steer just trying to get comfortable. Stevenson coming. There's been a lot of pieces maneuvering about, and this team doesn't have the quality of depth enough. I mean, at least seemingly to float that. But then he's, like we're talking about earlier, having Trevino and Wins combining for the best, catcher, production in all of MLB. It's crazy. So we do have athletes. It's just been funky for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about too. Is like people are going to go down, and we have depth. We have the depth organizationally where you're calling up Dunn, Hurtubise, Hines, Benson. Like, they're going through the gambit and they're testing that depth and going, okay, can any of these guys produce while Fraley's out, while Hayes was out, in Callahan, and oh man, what a bummer for that kid. But like, you're seeing it happen and it's not working. So they did the small Connor Joe move. Let's see if that works, even though it's small, and we'll see what happens. But then you're pushing towards August, you're pushing towards late July, staying in it and forcing the Reds to make their move that they need to make. They have to make the big move this year to extend and open the window while Ellie's here. So, okay.
I agree.
Let's move on to all these hurt boys, okay? This is wild. Hey, we talked about it last week and it happened. Rhett Lauder has returned.
Yay! That's cool.
Rhett Lauder, he did it Sunday in, I got a hair in my eye. In single A Dayton, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. I don't care. He's back.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is get his arm back up in a rhythm. And for these outings, they have like certain things they're trying to accomplish there, so you really kind of got to toss it out. I mean, besides, like, if they walk a whole bunch or just can't find the zone, that'd be the only alarming thing here. And so this is great, and I think he's scheduled for a AAA outing here, so that is very good.
Yes, and follow that up with Ian Jabot. Eat-Tane. He's in Louisville, gonna start a rehab assignment after his right shoulder impingement. So another guy in the pen that you can see coming back when someone else falters and he gets healthy enough. Same with Sam Moll being down there. You can, rotate in and out. Keep it moving. Keep the line going. Wade Miley, he had his outing in Dayton on Saturday. Struck out 6 while allowing 3 runs in 2 2/3. So he's getting it together. That's just even more depth. Jake Fraley is on the IL now. He was scratched from the lineup on Friday with a muscle bleed at the top of his calf. Not good. So he had some tenderness. They took him into the MRI tube, and they're like, hey, you bleeding, bud? He's like, I didn't even know.
No, internal bleeding. Gotta love that.
Gotta love that. So that's not phantom IL stuff. That's actual IL stuff. Hunter Green, we talked about that. Novi Marte, dude, when we talked about right side pain, they said right side pain, then it turned into an oblique strain.
Grade 2, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's a grade 2 strain, so that's scary.
Yeah, I don't like that, and especially, of course, coming off, he was doing superb. Yeah. So, and this is another guy that you factor into potentially being a dude that can really compete and get you some offensive numbers coming in, and then this happened. So that's such a bummer.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago he rained, and then last week he had a real dip, and then you see why he had the dip. He's hurting. He's like, uh-oh, not good. So there's your third baseman. That sucks. CES, he got a second epidural. There's no Target when he's coming back. He's been doing some running, some pregame stuff, but still nothing with lower back inflammation. Look at that. We've talked about it. Like, CES could hit 30 home runs for this team, and he's been out most of the year again.
Yeah, Noelve could potentially hit 30 home runs. We really don't know what his ceiling will be. And these guys that you just hope will come around, and they're still at essentially the beginning of their careers for the most part. it's just not going well for them physically. And it's a bummer because you do expect them, if healthy, to produce and play well. And unfortunately, we just can't get there.
No, it just sucks. When you look at this list, Hunter Green, Novi Marte, Christian Encarnacion Strand, you're like, man, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
All good.
Got a phone call. I don't know why that went through. That was weird. Mm-hmm. Then you take a look. Okay, so you take a look at what's coming up. You got the White Sox here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You've got Cannon Abbott, Martin Lodolo, Wilson Martinez. Sweep the White Sox.
We're at an opportunity here where you could, we're talking very bleakly right now, just being kind of honest. But with the weeks coming up here, you really do kind of control your destiny. We could see ourselves up above 500 and then playing the Cubs and really scratching back and being, as close to them as what we can be.
Yeah. You got an opportunity. The Guardians, we got them, and there'll be Singer, I'm assuming Petty, and Abbott. Then you look at the rest of the month. And then you go into next Monday, the 19th. You're at Pittsburgh for 3. Like we said, they're floundering. Mm-hmm. Okay? They're looking for anything. Then an off day. Having this off day tomorrow, Monday, when you're listening to this, is fucking huge.
They needed that. I mean, physically and mentally.
Needed it bad. They needed it so bad to get home. They left Houston, and now they're going home, and they're like, I'm going to sleep in my bed. I'm going to get my routine and then have an off day. And then Tuesday, just go destroy the White Sox.
Yeah, take a lot of aggression out on this team.
Take a lot of it out. Then, like I said, you got the Guards for 3. And then start a little 3-game road trip. The 19th, 20th, and 21st going to Pittsburgh. And then that Thursday, off day. That's a quick plane ride from Pittsburgh back here. Have the off day Thursday because you got a big series that weekend. Cubbies at home. You're going against who you are truly competing with in this division.
This is the biggest series, I think, so far of the season.
Agreed.
Coming up here. Playing your rival, playing the team that has just been white hot, seemingly, with some players. If you can take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, I think that will be such a big momentum shift and an emotional kind of uplift for this team that needs something. Yeah. And also, granted that they, don't piss the bed for the 3 series before that, but you really see a path here to where they can win, the White Sox series, the Pirates series, potentially the Guardian series, and if they can win the series against the Cubs, you feel like you're completely right back in it and kind of on the upswing.
Yeah, you're back in, and then you're closing out May with at the Royals, and they're on a tear. They're like 17-2 in their last 19. The bottom didn't fall out like we hoped it did, like we were talking about. And
no,
they
it didn't.
Just got it together. And then, dude, another off day on that Thursday, and then you're at the Cubs. As bleak as we have been, and hoping this offense produces, and you look and you see who's out and everything. You look at the standings today. The Reds are 20-22. They are 3.5 games behind the Cubs at the time of recording this. So you're looking at that. You're going, okay, 3.5. You're keeping it manageable. You're 2 games under 500. You're still in a good spot. But it just needs to be better.
Yeah, I think it feels a lot worse than what it is because we know how much this team is underperforming and all of the sad, unfortunate injuries that are going on. But so many teams are facing injuries. I think the average is 9 players on the IL across the MLB. So let's try not to look doom and gloom here and say, oh, this is happening to us. We're getting picked on, or if this person would. That happens. Every team is going to have CB Buckner eventually.
Yeah.
But the Reds are in control here. They do have an opportunity coming up here to take this off day, relax, recalibrate, go out, get in a rhythm for the 3 days against the lowly White Sox, try to build on that, and then stay home for a little bit. Guardians, Pirates, get in a rhythm. Yep. And then when you face the Cubs, hopefully at that point you are clicked in, you're rocking, and then can build on that. Because I think if they can win 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, I think that will just feel physically good enough to where that will hopefully get these guys even rolling even further.
Yeah, because you feel good about when you're closing out the month, because then you go to Wrigley, you know, and you can go into June feeling good. You're in a good spot. You're not down. You're chipping away at the people who are in front of you. And also, fuck the Cardinals, dude. Mm-hmm. This devil magic run that they're on again, I'm sick of it.
Yeah, done.
I'm over. I am so over it. So you've got opportunities to chip away at the people in front of you, and especially the dog at the top. So if you want to be better than them, beat them. Go and beat them at home. Beat them at Wrigley. So round third and head for home. We got pal.
I will be in Louisville on the 15th at Gravely Brewing. Come on out. It's going to be fun. It's a nice spot, and we got some nice comics on that show. Cincinnati on the 17th at Urban Artifact. That'll be going to benefit like a local animal shelter. It's going to be great. Raise money for that. And then back in Louisville, 22nd through the 24th.
Nice.
Yeah.
May 17th, you can catch me at The Comet for the drinking show. It's going to be a fun game of stand-up comedy, drinking, and I guess we're going to have some like crowd games where we're drinking and competing. I don't know. That's a show I've never done, and I'm really excited to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like a good one.
So it should be super fun. So, thanks to Sports Drink for hosting the audio of this podcast. Much appreciated. Shout out InTheClutch.com. InTheClutch.com. Promo code NastyBoys. 10% off. We got some really cool stuff coming. Got some really cool stuff dropping. We dropped an Ellie De La Cruz soccer jersey that is sick. Ooh. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. So, a wild blend. So there's that. Cincy Light. The taste of Cincinnati, the flavor of Cincinnati Daddies. Drink up your Cincy Light. Come on, buddies. Chug up. And thanks for having me in the Fart Dunge.
Anytime, buddy. I know we're a bit negative today, but we had to really look ourselves in the mirror and say, my goodness, we look a little ugly right now.
We look a little ugly.
But I think, next time we're going to be back here, I think it could be much different. We'll be over 500 and talking about how much better Matt McLean's looking, Spencer Steer, and getting some good news from Hunter Green possibly. I think we are going to be in a much better situation, I feel, coming up here. And if not, I'm just going to walk into the Ohio River. I don't know what to tell you.
We'll do it hand in hand, pal.
Exactly.
So I feel better. We were a little critical, but you know what? I feel like we're not overly bleak. If we rein it in, we pull it in a little bit, but when it's deserved, you kind of let it rip, and I don't think we were too bad.
I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. So, and thank you for watching and or listening. And as always, go Red Legs.
Go Red Legs.